Welcome to Weather Briefings Winter Storm Outlook. This outlook issued on Thursday, February 25th, 2016. I would like to welcome you to our Winter Storm Outlook website, which is really one of a kind. We will be offering you a very detailed 14-day weather forecast for the entire United States, focusing on storms that move across the United States. Right now, we're focusing on winter storms. Most of the winter storms we will see from here on out will probably have a spring component as we begin to move into the month of March and also begin to start to see warmer air move in, just as we're seeing with this storm that is exiting the country slowly but surely today. We will be keeping our 14-day forecast well past the winter season, and we will be changing the name of this page sometime probably at the beginning of April. But our primary effort here is to present to you a 14-day outlook that you can begin to plan your business operations around, and also present to you the best tool we think that exists out there in meteorology, which is our Storm Avenger web app. And we will be talking about that more in our videos as well. If you look just below the video, you'll see a very detailed description, and we encourage you to take advantage of our special, which we have now through the end of March, offering you a deal where you pay only a fraction of our normal cost. If you want our Premium Plus plan, which gives you 24/7 access to our live meteorology staff by phone, by text, and a very detailed and customized web app just for you, it's only $450. And if you want the basic app, it's only $45 through the end of April. It's a heck of a deal, and it's an amazing product, and will give you the opportunity to really see how Weather Briefings operates. Let's go ahead and show you what our 14-day outlook looks like. Let's take a look at the current storm, starting with the 500 millibar wind field, which we will add to our map here. If you look at the winds at 500 millibars, you see a significant low trough over the Ohio Valley. It's kind of there's actually a closed low almost over portions of the northwest Pennsylvania and southeast, east central Michigan area. That trough is going to eventually, over the next day or so, drift off to the northeast. But we had quite a storm, and if you look at radar overlaid, you still see quite a bit of snow over Michigan on into the northern Ohio Valley, and some rain and snow mixed over New York State into northeast Pennsylvania. All of the severe weather is off the coast now, but you can see this strong jet stream that has also moved off the coast, which is now located over the east central northeast coast of the United States. And all of those thunderstorms plagued the northeast right through the night. In fact, very unusual for this time of year to see tornado watches as far north as New Jersey and severe thunderstorm watches as far north as Rhode Island. However, that storm has now pushed to the east. Quite a lot of damage yesterday, and we are going to be looking at a couple of additional storms in the month of March, which mirror this particular storm. So we're going to have to watch that very closely. But again, this storm looks like it's exiting. The rain that you see over the parts of New York and Pennsylvania will probably drift up into New England, and maybe some snow or light snow possible in the higher elevations. And the rest of the snow over Michigan ought to dissipate shortly. As we move into our 14-day outlook, I thought we'd take a look at a couple of very interesting charts. One of them is the precipitation outlook based on the GFS model. This is for Monday at midnight, the 29th of February. And this is a essentially an Alberta clipper as it arrives from the low center actually forms over the extreme northern United States, but the energy really comes out of Canada and drives to the southeast. A low pressure system forms over portions of the eastern Midwest and then over the Ohio Valley. And you can see this storm, once it kind of wraps up and moves over the state of Ohio, the low center in this case would probably be over northwestern uh, Pennsylvania or northeastern Ohio. A band of snow again over Michigan, and that extends up into Canada as well as parts of Maine and the very northern most part of New York State and Vermont and New Hampshire with some showers on south. I don't think we're going to tap the Gulf just yet, so thunderstorms probably not likely. Maybe a couple of isolated storms over northern Louisiana. The other storm we're going to be watching is entering the Pacific Northwest, producing some snow over Idaho and rain over eastern parts of Washington, Oregon, except for some snows in the higher elevation. And that storm is going to become a big deal as we move beyond Monday. We don't have to wait very long for the next storm to develop of significance. That's Tuesday, March 1st. It looks like it's going to come in like a lion over much of the central United States. That storm over the Pacific Northwest quickly moves south and east and sort of moves into the trough that is well established right now across the central United States and into the Ohio Valley. We begin to see a low pressure system not shown on this radar depiction. However, it will probably form over portions of northwestern Arkansas or southwestern Missouri. As you can see on the northern edge in the blue, we will see snow with rain and perhaps a couple of thunderstorms in the green. And we begin to tap Gulf moisture. You can see it sort of pulling up from the Gulf on this depiction, some of it over Texas, but the real northwest flow of Gulf moisture is still down in the Gulf of Mexico. Dew points probably only in the low 50s at best over the southern Gulf states on Monday. Let's take a look at what happens on Tuesday and Wednesday with this storm. And by Wednesday, the storm really starts to wrap up. Again, we're watching a radar depiction here of what it will look like based on the GFS model, but it looks like the low center should be probably somewhere over southern Illinois, central Illinois, and a significant amount of snow likely over northwest Missouri in a band all the way through southern lower Michigan into portions of New York State and back on up to Maine. And by now the Gulf is tapped, and we're probably looking at another risk for severe weather over portions of Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. And this extensive Gulf moisture that we'll likely see building north across the southern United States will probably build as far north as the Ohio Valley, and that will aid in the significant precipitation that I think will form with this storm. The threat for severe weather early on the uh, the 2nd of March, which is a Wednesday. This is midnight Wednesday, probably expands very significantly as we move into the day. While it starts out over Oklahoma and Louisiana and parts of Texas, it will become a significant event over portions further east. We will also watch another storm entering the Pacific Northwest, which will begin to cause us a problem across the central and eastern United States sometime later in the week. Here's another radar depiction at noon on Wednesday showing a significant band of snow across central and eastern Missouri, across the Chicago area, which saw a lot of snow with this past storm, right on through Michigan, where heavy snow fell just overnight and continues to fall today, and on into much of New York State. We're going to have to watch this red and yellow area for the possibility of some freezing rain, and the green area off to the south, definitely where I think we'll probably see severe weather. By 8 a.m. on the 3rd of March, Thursday, we will see this storm completely wrapped up, probably at its most intense form, and we will see very heavy snow from the Ohio Valley, even as far south as Kentucky and Tennessee, on through the southeastern half of Michigan, and then across parts of New England with some freezing rain as well, and a squall line, just very much like we saw uh, last night over parts of central New York State back into Pennsylvania on into the east central U.S. The squall line will obviously start over the southern United States and drift or move relatively quickly to the east central U.S., and another severe weather outbreak is in the works. This is a North American 8 to 10 day 500 millibar projection, and I find it very interesting. And we'll just take a quick look at this because it is reflective of, I think, longer term patterns. If you look at day 8, you see a couple of very interesting things. Not a whole lot of cold air through Canada. The real cold air is still sitting over the northern Pacific, just south of the Aleutian Islands and west of Alaska, and the very warm air really is over the western United States. There is some cooler air which is over portions of the southern Gulf Coast states, and that's part of that deep trough which is over the eastern and central United States. I want to take a look at that trough because that's going to be very indicative of what we're going to be seeing over the next several days, especially as we look out 8 to 10 days from now. It looks like it's going to move quickly to the east, or actually, uh, there will be waves that will move along it quickly to the east. The trough stays relatively stationary, and by day 10, there is some colder air that actually really gets established or becomes established over the northern central plains into the central United States, which will aid in the formation of yet another storm 10 days out from now. We are going to watch this trough slowly move to the east, and as it does, we will probably see more significant storms move up the east coast. But for now, it's hard to find cold air in Canada that will really aid in terms of a significant early March. I think that cold air that's moving slowly to the east over the northern Pacific, our northeast Pacific, will play a role in our weather, but not until the second half of March over the eastern United States, and probably will play a significant role over the central and central United States and the northern Rockies as we move into the, say, 11th through the 15th of the month, and maybe a little bit beyond. That's the latest. We will do our best to keep these videos concise and yet very informative and provide you as much information as possible. We'll do better every time we do a video, which will be every day. We hope you've enjoyed this long range outlook, and we will be back tomorrow with another full 14-day outlook. I am meteorologist John Travers from Weather Briefings.